Hello and welcome to another video tutorial with Claudio. Today we do present perfect. Now the present perfect is basically I have done something in English. So this is what it looks like in English. And it doesn't matter what verb you use, even if it's the verb to have or the verb to be, you always have your subject, the verb to have conjugated in the right way, and then you have the past participle of the verb that you want to have in the present perfect. What is the past participle? Now, for instance, the verb to go goes go, went, gone. And gone is the form that you need, okay? And it's the same for all the different persons, like second persons, plural, first person, singular. It doesn't matter. You always have the same form, okay? So it's really easy. And basically, the verb to go in English is also irregular. For the regular verbs, it's even easier. All the regular verbs go swim, swimmed, swimmed. So it's very easy to make. The present perfect is used for when an action or a process is not completely finished. Okay, so we're not talking about the past simple in this video. We're talking about the present perfect. So it's still present. So I have done something. It's still going on. So I have finished dinner. Yes, I've just finished it, but I'm still in the process of having to finish. So I'm still having dinner right now in this very moment. And it's when an action that began in the past has still consequences on, the present. So this is when you use the present perfect in English. Now you may wonder, so why are you spending so much time teaching me my own language? Well, the thing is, in Italian, you use the present perfect in a different way. For some reason, in Italian, in the South, people do exactly what they do in English. So they use the past simple when you have to use the past simple, and they use the present perfect when you have to use the present perfect. In the North, on TV, people have stopped using the past simple because it's not simple. It's very difficult. So people have stopped using it. People stopped using the past simple. Therefore, they use the present perfect for actions that are finished already. For instance, yesterday I went to the beach. People would say in Italian, yesterday I have gone to the beach. They always use the present perfect. This is a bit confusing because you're not used to this. But, it might grow your brain or something. And also, it's easier from another point of view because you're going to have to worry just about one tense. Now, in the beginner series, I won't teach the past simple. I won't teach it. The present perfect in Italian, basically it's used for pretty much every situation that has some link to the past. Now, the good news is that it's very similar to the English one. So you add the verb to have, which we've already covered. If you don't know the verb to have and the verb to be, go and watch the videos right now and come back. So we use the verb to have conjugated in the right person. For instance, I have eaten. Io means I. Then have conjugated in the first person singular because you are doing the action of having eaten. So I have, io ho, and then the past participle. Now, how do you make the past participle? Now, we've said that in English, it's very easy. In Italian, it's just as easy. If you have a verb, for instance, the verb to eat, mangiare. What do? Well, we separate the stem, which is the root of the verb, from the ending. How do you realize what the ending is? Well, the ending can either be are ere or ire in Italian. So A-R-E, E-R-E, or I-R-E. Okay, it's either this one, that one, or the other one. It can't be anything else. So we take the verb in its infinitive form and we take the stem, separate it from the ending, and the ending will tell us what kind of verb this is. And this is indeed an are type verb. So we take the stem, mangi, and what we do is we bring it all the way over here. And here you go. We have the past participle of the verb to eat, mangiato. So all you have to take away from this video relay and take notes of is this table that basically enables you to create the past participle out of any verb in Italian, mangiato. And then after you have this, all you do is you take the verb and you bring it over here. Okay, so we have the subject, we have the verb to be or the verb to have, in this case the verb to have, and then the past participle of the verb that you need in the present perfect. So I have eaten, io ho mangiato. Now, why do you think I would ever confuse you by putting the verb to be here as well? Well, in Italian, it's just not as easy as it is in English, meaning you don't always have the subject plus the verb to have plus a verb in the past participle. In Italian, sometimes you use the verb to be instead of the verb to have as auxiliary verb. So instead of saying I have gone, you say I am gone. Okay? I know it's very confusing, but this is the way it is. So for the majority of the verbs in Italian, it's exactly the same as in English. And if you're not sure, then go for to have. So subject plus the verb to have plus the verb that you need in the present perfect. And that verb has to be in the past participle. End of the story. Now, the complication and the added level of complexity to this is that for some particular verbs, and now we're going to have a look at what verbs, you have the verb to be as auxiliary verb as opposed to the verb to have. If you want to have one of the walking verbs, the so-called walking verbs in the past participle, or the transitioning verbs, then you need to use the verb to be as auxiliary verb. For instance, the verb to go, the verb to come back, the verb to leave, the verb to arrive. All these verbs are called walking verbs or transitioning verbs because they involve movement and, walking. So going from one place to another, either as a figure of speech or literally. So all these verbs need the verb to be. If it's a normal verb, like to sleep, dormire, colorare, to color, parlare, to speak, mangiare, to eat, if it's any other verb, then you have no problem. So you have your subject, the verb to have, conjugated in the present tense, and the verb that you need in present perfect in its past participle form. You come back home, okay, you're in a host family, and you want to say, we have arrived, okay? It's you and a friend, so we have arrived. How do you say we have arrived in Italian? Well, easy. First of all, we need the verb to arrive. The verb to arrive is arrivare, and you can find it in the dictionary. Of course, you will find it in its infinitive form, and that's exactly the form that we need. We realized that it's an are type verb, so what we do is we basically pick the stem and we bring it all the way over here. Why here and not there? Because it's an are type verb. First thing. Second thing, we pick the past participle of the verb to have, to arrive, and we place it over here. At this point, all we've got left to do is to decide whether we use to have or to be. Well, to arrive is a verb that involves some kind of transition, some kind of movement. We is noi. Siamo is the right conjugation that we need. So, noi siamo arrivato. Now, why is it still wrong? It's still wrong because this is plural. Now, io, I, so I, you, he, she, these are called first, second, and third person singular because it's just one person. Noi, voi, loro, so we, you, and they, but you for multiple people, these are called first, second, and third person plural because they involve multiple people, okay? We, you all, they. If it's plural, if the person doing the action of being arrived is plural, if the person is plural, then we need the past participle in its plural form. How do we make the plural form of the past participle? Well, we change the ending. The ending is O, it will become I. That's it. This is another complication that you have with the past participle, so you've got to be careful. For instance, we've seen that with the gerund, we didn't have any problem. With the past participle, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the point of view, you have some more details to take care of. For instance, if it was lei è arrivata, so she has arrived. How do you say she has arrived? I want to remind you that if she had arrived yesterday, we would still say she has arrived. We wouldn't say she arrived. In English, you would say she arrived, but in Italian, you would still say she has arrived yesterday. So how would you say she has arrived? You would say lei è arrivata, because you need a feminine version of the past participle. How do you say lui è arrivato? Well, with an O, because it's masculine, and so for tu, and so for io. Okay, so what we've discovered is that the gerund that we've covered in a previous video is absolutely both number and gender insensitive. It never changes. You build it and then you use it. You plug it in. Whatever the person happens to be, it's good. It's good to go. Now, unfortunately, with the past participle, you have to be a bit more careful. So the past participle is gender sensitive and also number sensitive. Okay, so the plurality also matters. So I think now we know everything about the past participle and we know everything about the present perfect. So we've done two tenses at once, basically. The past participle and then the present perfect. Of course, you need the past participle in order for you to use the present perfect correctly. And we also know about the exceptions, and we've looked at a few examples in English, and we have a lot more words, pretty much all verbs, to add to our dictionary. I hope you have found this video helpful. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked the video. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.